Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 Shruti Sharma.
Good evening, aspirants. Welcome to the Hindu News Analysis discussion brought to you by ForumIAS for the date 12th Feb 2023. So for today, we will be covering 5 topics. The list of topics are displayed for your convenience. You can have a look at it. So for today, we will be covering topics from governance, disaster management, internal security, as well as from economics. So straight away, let us move to the first topic for the day. Now coming to the first topic of the day, the cuts run deep. This news article is regarding the Central Board of Film Certification. You have to note that there are 9 regional offices of CBFC. In that, the Hindu group has approached the Chennai and Mumbai regional offices of CBFC. From that, they have got a data, that is the censor data for the months between November 2022 and the first week of February 2023. From that data, which covers over 300 films across multiple languages, the Hindu group found that nearly 1000 cuts and changes were ordered by the Central Board of Film Certification. So, in that line, let us know about the CBFC from the exam point of view. See, the article has covered the films where the cuts and revisions have been proposed by the Film Certification Board, but we do not need to know all that. So, from exam point of view, we will know what is CBFC and the objectives as well as the increasing role of CBFC beyond the traditional jurisdiction. With that, let us see about the draft cinematograph bill 2021 also. Firstly, let us see what is CBFC. See, CBFC stands for Central Board of Film Certification, and it is a statutory body. That is, the board is established under a law made by the Parliament, and know that they function under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. In addition to this, the board's function is to regulate public exhibition of films under the provision of Cinematography Act, which was passed in the year 1952. That is, the CBFC will check the films before they are released in the theatres and screened to the public. They ensure that age-appropriate content is provided to the audience who come and watch the movies in the theatre. To be precise, CBFC tells the audience how this movie is featured. That is, they tell about the nature of violence, sexual content and abusive language if they are used in these movies. See, the board members will be knowing it as any movies before screening to the public should be shown to the CBFC members. And know that films can be publicly exhibited in India only after they have been certified by the CBFC. See, the board consists of non-official members and a chairman, all of whom are appointed by the central government. Know that the CBFC function with its headquarters in Mumbai. Also, it has 9 regional offices and each one are established at Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Bangalore, Thiruvananthapuram, Hyderabad, New Delhi, Cuttack and Guwahati. And these regional offices are assisted by advisory panels for verifying the films before release. Know that the members of the panel are nominated by the central government for a period of 2 years. Most importantly, you have to know that the certification process is done based on the Cinematography Act as well as the Cinematograph Rules 1983. And sometimes even the guidelines issued by the central government will be made use while certification process is going on. According to these provisions, at present, films are certified under 4 categories. They are U, UA, A and S. U means unrestricted public exhibition, whereas U bar A means unrestricted public exhibition with a word of caution. It signals parent discretion for children below the age of 12 years. That is, children can watch those movies, but they can come along with parents. Whereas the A certification movie means it is restricted to adults only, and films certified as A will have more violent and sexual content. So its access is restricted. Films restricted to any special class of persons are certified as S category. Using these certifications, the CBFC can ask the directors of the film to remove certain violent or sexual as well as abusive languages in the film so that they would get U or UA certifications. This is because U or UA certifications will have a larger audience and so there will be higher profit for the filmmakers. By this way, the CBFC will bring down the contents that promote violence or sexual abuse and abusive languages used in the movies. Here, the article highlights that beyond regulating the violence, sexual contents, and use of abusive languages, the CBFC has extended its jurisdiction. That is, it has extended its scope of regulation. Because nowadays, the CBFC is also more concerned about the integrity of state, good relationship with the foreign nations, as well as asking the filmmakers to remove references to government authorities, like use of words Prime Minister in the films are asked to be removed. And moreover, if the filmmakers are not satisfied with the certifications or proposals by the CBFC members, filmmakers now cannot even approach an appellate tribunal, because in the year 2021, the Film Certification Appellate Tribunal was abolished. So if there is any dissatisfaction with the orders of CBFC, then filmmakers have to approach the High Court now. We know, right, how long it takes to get a final judgment in the court. That is all about the CBFC. Let us see about the provisions of Draft Cinematograph Bill 2021 in short. See, first of all, you have to know about two committees that deals with the film certification and freedom of expression. They are Mukul Mudgal Committee of 2013 and the Shyam Banegal Committee of 2016. Only based on these two committee recommendations, the bill was drafted. See, the section 5B of 1 in the Cinematography Act deals with the guidance in certifying films. Such provisions is based on Article 19 of 2 of the Constitution, which says certain reasonable restrictions to freedom of speech and expression can be imposed by the government. Know that under the draft bill, the union government can order for re-examination of an already certified film. That is, if there is any complaint about the film, the certification provided by the CBFC can be re-examined before screening the movie, and thereby they are subjected to future complaints. This is said to be in violation of Section 5B of 1 in the Cinematograph Act of 1952. In addition to it, the union government also has the power to reverse the decision of the board. So here the critics say that the power of the statutory board is undermined because such political intervention is there in the film certification. Moving forward, the bill proposed for the subdivision of existing UA category, that is the provision relating to U-bar-A certification category, are set to be amended and subdivided into U-bar-A 7+, U-bar-A 13+, and U-bar-A 16+. This is more specific in giving age-appropriate content to the public. Because of the increase in role of public executives in film certifications, critics argue that free flow of information will be restricted in our country. Secondly, we know, right, the film industry in India runs on profit motive. If there are unwanted interventions from the government, it will affect the ease of doing business in the country. In addition, it will restrict the creativity of the filmmakers and actors. So these are the areas that need to be reformed, so that the Article 19(1), which grants freedom of speech and expression, can be ensured to the public, along with necessary interventions of CBFC, so that the CBFC can provide freedom of speech as well as they can prevent the use of violent, sexual and abusive contents in the movies. So that is all about the article. So in this article, we saw what is CBFC, their functions, as well as from prelims perspective, we saw the facts regarding the CBFC, also the concerns that are raised in the article. So with this, let us close this topic and move to the next one. Moving to the second topic, SC steps in for under trial prisoners unable to furnish surety bail bonds. See, this news article is regarding the directions issued by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has taken note of the report from the National Legal Service Authority, and according to this report by NALSA, it says that nearly 5,000 under trial prisoners are there who are yet to be released even after getting a bail provision. This is because the under trial prisoners are accused in many cases, and in addition to it, the accused are also not able to comply with the bail conditions. For example, the bail conditions may be like depositing some money as a security to the court, or sometimes the courts demand a surety from the accused that they would appear before the courts when they are called. And in that surety document, there has to be signatures of witnesses also. So there is difficulty to guarantee the presence of the accused during investigations by other persons like friends or relatives of the accused. Keeping all these in mind, the NALSA report says that the under trial prisoners are not able to satisfy the bail conditions, and so they remain in the custody even after getting bail order from the court. So in this line, let us know about the National Legal Service Authorities from prelims as well as mains angle. See, NALSA, that is NALSA means National Legal Service Authority. It is constituted under the Legal Services Authorities Act of 1987. That is, they are a statutory bodies established under parliamentary law. See, the aim of the authority is to provide free legal services to the weaker sections of the society. Here you can quote the Article 39A of the Constitution, which is under the DPSP, which says equal justice and free legal aid can be provided to the poorer section. To ensure that only, NALSA was established by the government. For that purpose, they also organized Lok Adalats for amicable settlement of disputes. That is, Lok Adalats are nothing but like centers where mediations between the two parties in the disputes will take place. Also know that the NALSA is established at the Supreme Court of India, and the Chief Justice of India is the patron-in-chief of NALSA. In order to make NALSA function effectively, it has been decentralized to form a hierarchy at state level, district level, and also at the taluk level. See, in every state, State Legal Service Authority has been constituted to give effect to the policies and directions of NALSA. That is, the aim of the State Legal Service Authorities is to give free legal services to the people and conduct Lok Adalats in the state. Know that in the state level, the State Legal Service Authority is headed by the Honorable Chief Justice of respective High Courts. And the Chief Justice of that state's High Court is also Patron-in-Chief of the State Legal Service Authority. In addition to it, a senior most judge of the High Court is nominated as an executive chairperson for this SLSA. Likewise, in every district, district service authorities have been constituted to implement the legal services program. The district legal service authorities is situated in the district courts complex in every district, and know that it is chaired by district judge of the respective district. To make DLSA function more effectively, a judicial officer is appointed as the secretary on a full-time basis. And if we go down the line, there is taluk level, and if we go down the line, taluk legal services committees are also constituted for each of the taluk or mandals. Sometimes taluk legal service authorities are also constituted for a group of taluks or mandals to coordinate the activities of legal services. There are also, at taluk level also, they organize Lok Adalats. Now know that taluk legal service committees is headed by a senior civil judge who operates within the jurisdiction of the committee, and the senior civil judge in the taluk will also be the ex officio chairperson of taluk legal service committee. We said in the earlier part, right, it aims to provide free legal aid to poor and weaker section. The section 12 of Legal Services Authorities Act of 1987 defines who are these weaker sections. See, here it is listed. In that line, the legal services by services authorities at different levels are provided to members of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, victims of trafficking in human beings or beggar as referred in the Article 23 of the Constitution. The eligibility is also provided to women, children, mentally ill person, disabled person, sometimes who is a victim of mass disaster, ethnic violence are also included under the category of persons eligible for getting free legal advice. Also, industrial workmen and person who are in custody or in juvenile home for protection are also included in this category. So there are provisions of, so these are the provisions of NALSA. In addition to it, the article reports that there are certain changes that has to be done in e-prison software. The e-prison software is used in nearly 1,300 prisons across the country, which holds information about the prisons as well as prisoners in the country. In that software, separate category called bailed out but not released category will be devised so as to know the exact number of accused who are not released even after getting bail. For such a process to be effective, the SC bench ordered the courts to send soft copies of bail orders to the prison authorities. This has to be done within a day of granting bail to the under trial prisoner. And so that the jail superintendent records the date of the bail in the e-prison software as soon as he receives the soft copy. Since NIC is involved, that is the National Informatics Center is involved in e-prison software, the NIC will make a provision to record a date of release separately from the date of bail granted. By that way, we can know when the bail was granted and when the accused is released on bail. Also, if a prisoner is not released in 7 days from the date of bail granted, automatic mail will be sent to the Secretary of District Legal Service Authority. By this mechanism, the right to life and personal liberty of under trial prisoners shall be granted to satisfy Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. So, this is all about the article, and in this slide we can also see what are the free legal services that could be provided to the eligible person. It says like payment of court fee or providing the service of lawyer in legal proceedings and supply of certified copies of orders. So these are the free legal services that are provided to eligible persons. And with this we have come to the end of this topic. So here we saw about NALSA as well as the other levels of authorities that are constituted to ensure free legal services are provided to all sections of the people. And we also saw about e-court software and certain recommendations from the Supreme Court so as to grant not just bail but also release the person once the bail is granted. So with this, let us move to the next topic. Now coming to the third topic, why were the Turkey earthquake so deadly? We all came across a news, right, regarding the recent earthquakes in Turkey. So this news article is regarding that only. In this discussion, we will study what causes earthquake and also in specific about the plate margins in and around Turkey region. Straight away, let us move to the discussion. In this slide, I have given the definition for earthquake. It says earthquake is a violent and abrupt shaking of ground. This happens when there is a movement of tectonic plates along the fault lines. We will see that in detail. See, first of all, we have to know Earth is something which is dynamic and a constant process called convection process is undergoing within the Earth's surface. And there are 15 tectonic plates that sits above the asthenosphere region. You have to know, right, what is asthenosphere region? This is the region which is very less dense, and above this region only, that is above the asthenosphere region only, there are 15 tectonic plates which are floating. See, the tectonic plates are nothing but crustal regions. This crust is nothing but the rocky surface that is floating on the asthenosphere. In that way, the movement of plates creates stress in the rocks by which the surface of rocks may break and respond to it. When the rock breaks, cracks are created which are called as fault lines. These are fault lines. You can see, right, when there is a movement of plate margins, we can see a line which is separated. That line is called as fault lines, and the blocks on either side of the faults are called as fault blocks. When these fault blocks move, earthquakes may occur. That's it. See, there are three main types of faults. One is strike strip fault, reverse fault, and normal fault. Let us discuss that one by one. The first I want to talk about is the normal fault that is created by the force called tension. See, tension is what happens when you take, let's say, a rope and pull on both sides of it. The stress created on the rope is called tensile force. Now, what happens with rock is that when the rock gets stretched out, it becomes thin in the middle and the fault lines are produced after some time. As a result, if this process is continued for long, the land mass between the end of the rock subsides and moves downward. See, you can see, right, this has went down because of tensile force. As a result, land mass subsides because of divergent. This happens at divergent boundaries because the plates are moving away from one another. Second type of fault is the reverse fault, and it's kind of opposite to the normal fault. See, a reverse fault occurs as a result of compressive forces. That is, forces squeeze the rock from both the end of the rock until it moves upward or until it breaks. Make sure you remember reverse fault is caused by compression. Another fault is called the strike slip fault. See, this occurs from the stress that produces a massive rock that pushes a massive rock in two opposite directions. This is called shear stress. So remember that strike slip fault is formed from shear stress, and this occurs at transform plate boundaries, which is where two plates slide past each other. When they slide each other, friction is formed and this leads to high pressure in the region. This pressure generated will also cause energy over the plate margins. After some time, due to constant movement of the plate, the pressure becomes very high that energy cannot be stored beyond a particular level in the fault lines. Then suddenly there will be a slip of the faults which causes earthquake. So an earthquake is caused by the friction that is there between two plates when they slide in a horizontal direction. You have to know that there will not be a lot of friction when plates move slowly, and so there will be less chances for major earthquake. But if the plates slide past one another easily, there is a lot of friction, and so the plates tend to generate a lot of pressure and energy gets accumulated because of it. Suddenly when the plates slip, they will have a major earthquake. This is the concept of earthquake. Now let us apply it in the West Asia. See, Turkey and Syria, they lie at the meeting point of three plates. One is the Arabian plate, which is here, Arabian plate, and next is North Anatolian plate and the African plate, which is below it. See, this makes the region seismically active. This is the region, that is, the region is vulnerable to earthquakes and tremors because it is present near the edges of plate margins. From the figure, you can see the direction of plate movements. See, the Arabian plate is trying to move northwards into the Europe. Because of this, the Anatolian plate is pushed to move towards the western side. Here, know that majority of Turkey land area is on the Anatolian plate and between the two major faults, that is the North Anatolian fault as well as on the East Anatolian fault. This type of horizontal movement between the Anatolian plate and the Arabian plate causes shear stress near the fault lines. Especially the stress is formed near the East Anatolian fault. So as a result of this, energy gets accumulated there, and suddenly when the energy is disseminated because of uncontrollable pressure, the plates slip, creating large waves in the crustal region. Because of this, the building constructed on the crustal regions gets destroyed and lead to loss of properties and lives. This is what has led to the cause of earthquake of magnitude above 7.8 in the Turkey region. In addition to it, the article talks about the earthquake that is overdue in the Garhwal Kumaon region. See, the Himalayas are formed because of convergent plate margin. That is, the denser Indian plate is moving forward, that is moving northward to hit the Eurasian plate. Because of high density, the plate subside, that is the Indian plates subsides and went under the Eurasian plate. So as a result, the plate got tilted and got bent near the northern margins of Indian plate. This led to formation of Himalayas. But the movement of Indian plate is continuing, and that is why the experts say that there is constant energy and pressure that is generated in the region. This energy is said to be latent, which means the energy is hidden and it might be released in form of strike slip or thrust, which is similar to something happened in the Turkey region. Since predicting nature is close to impossible, the article highlights that the need for earthquake preparedness is necessary by taking Chile as an example. The author says that although Chile faced an earthquake above the magnitude of 9, it withstood it because of strictly enforcing building codes. This is the area where the Turkey went wrong. So the earthquake prone countries like India and Japan can learn the best practice from Chile and implement in order to reduce the impact of disasters in these countries. So that is all about the news article. With this, let us finish this topic and move to the fourth topic for the day. Fourth topic, how is government ramping up border infrastructure? See, this news article is regarding a report that is published by the External Affairs Minister. Recently, in a parliamentary session, the External Affairs Minister Jaishankar released detail on border infrastructure and connectivity projects of the government. This report mainly focused on initiatives that are taken by the government in northern and eastern regions, especially along the LAC, that is line of actual control. This report is set to address the demands of opposition party who are continuously asking about the happenings in line of actual control region. In addition to that, even the Hindu newspaper reported that India has lost many of its patrolling points to China last year. So as a response to such allegations, the External Affairs Minister has come up with details of steps taken by Government of India to address the issue. See, first of all, know that LAC has been in news constantly. That is right from the Doklam issue in the period 2017. And then in the year 2020, there was a clash between Indian and Chinese troops in Galwan Valley. After such a violent incident in 45 years, there is a standoff along the entire line of actual control region now. So at present, we can say that the border management with China is not at a good pace and our country is facing challenges in it. That is why the border infrastructure near the LAC is also getting important and it is often being discussed in the parliament. If we take the official documents released by the External Affairs Minister, it says a multi-pronged strategy is being followed. That is, the approach includes enhancing connectivity to LAC through roads, bridges and tunnels. Also, improving cross-border connectivity to neighboring countries is done through constructing highways, bridges, railroads, etc. And secondly, the approach includes laying electricity lines and fuel pipelines. Modernizing and constructing integrated checkpoints at all border crossings for smooth trade is also done as a part of multi-pronged strategy. Finally, there is element of funding and constructing infrastructure projects in neighboring states. To substantiate its points, the government provides a fact here. It says that in the period between 2014 to 2022, the length of the roads constructed in China border areas is around 6,800 kilometers. This is said to be double the length of the roads that were constructed in the period 2008 to 14. In addition to this, the report specifically highlights certain projects planned, financed, or constructed by the Government of India. First is the Mahakali Motorable Bridge, where the Prime Minister in 2021 approved the MOU signed between India and Nepal for constructing a bridge over Mahakali River. That is why the name Mahakali has been given to the bridge. This promotes the ties between the countries, that is between India and Bangladesh, through open border and deep-rooted people-to-people contact. Secondly, the report talks about Maitri Setu, that is between the India and Bangladesh. It is a bridge over the Feni River which flows between Tripura state and the Bangladesh. Know that Maitri Setu is 1.9 kilometer long bridge that joins Sabroom in Tripura with Ramgarh in Bangladesh. Through this infrastructure project, Tripura will become gateway of Northeast, and it will also improve the access to Chittagong port of Bangladesh. Next is the Kaladan Multimodal Transport Project. See, India is building a Kaladan Multimodal Transport Project, which is a river, road, port, cargo transport. So, multiple mode of transportation is used here to link Kolkata to Sitwe in Myanmar, and then from Myanmar's Kaladan River, it is linked to India's northeast. And finally, the infra project also speaks about South Asia's first cross-border petroleum product pipeline. This is said to be between India and Nepal. And lastly, the high-speed diesel pipeline with Bangladesh is also expected to reduce the petrol prices and road congestions in the region. So that is what has been discussed in the article. But before closing the topic, let us know in brief about other initiatives which are taken by the government. First is the Vibrant Villages program. See, this program got announced in the budget 2022. In this, the border villages with a very less population, villages with very limited connectivity and poor infrastructure are covered under the Vibrant Village program. And this program will include activities like constructing village infrastructure, tourism centers, road connectivity, like providing DTH facilities or education channels, Doordarshan facilities to people living in those villages. And so, as a result, this program is aimed to support for livelihood generation of the people living there. This is a move that is seen to counter Chinese. This is a move that is set to counter the Chinese model village, which is established close to LAC region. Second is the border area development region. See, this is initiated in the border regions of Western India. It got initiated during the 7th 5-year plan, that is between the year 1985 to 1990. The aim of the program is to ensure balanced development of border areas. This is done through development of infrastructure and like promoting a sense of security among border population is made here. In addition to it, the special development needs of the people living in remote and inaccessible areas are also taken into account. So, the people situated near the international borders are provided with essential infrastructure through convergence of scheme at all levels. Importantly, this program includes participatory approach by having constant interaction with the people living there to know the demands as well as grievance of the people. Third one is the smart fencing in India. This program includes pilot projects which are undertaken in the Indo-Pakistan border as well as Indo-Bangladesh border. This project is implemented under CIBMS, that is Comprehensive Integrated Border Management System. See, this system includes a range of state-of-art surveillance technologies, and these are deployed in the border regions. Know that they range from installing thermal imagers, infrared and laser-based intruder alarms in the border fences. In addition to that, aerostats are used for aerial surveillance, and some ground sensors are also used to help detect intrusion in the border regions. Finally, the most popular bold QIT, which is border electronically dominated QRT interceptor technique, is also used under the CIBMS. And final one is the Border Roads Organization. See, this organization was founded in the year 1960, and know that it functions under the Ministry of Defense. Also know that this BRO plays a major role in providing defense infrastructure along the border regions, and it includes like creating roads, bridges, highways and other structures in the border regions. In that way, the BRO has constructed nearly 53,600 kilometers of roads and bridges for the people living in northeast as well as in the Himalayan regions of the Indian subcontinent. Himalayan regions of India. See, these are few initiatives that are undertaken by the government of India in addition to those that are mentioned in the article. So these points can help you in prelims and even for writing mains answers. So with this, let us wind up this topic and move to the final topic of the day. Registry will help expedite credit flows, says Das. This news article is about two things. One is about the National Financial Information Registry, and another thing is regarding the negative interest rate. First, let us see about NFIR. See, our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in her 2023 budget speech announced that the government will set up a National Financial Information Registry. See, this NFIR will be a repository, that is a central repository of financial information. That is, this NFIR will host all information about the potential borrowers at one place. This information will include credit history, current loans that need to be paid by the borrower, and even about the loan defaults if there is any with respect to the potential borrowers. And using this information about the borrowers, the lenders like banks and financial institutions can assess the capacity of the borrowers. And after such assessment, the lenders can give loans to these borrowers. In this way, the government of India is taking measures to reduce NPAs and also to facilitate efficient flow of credit. So by that means, financial inclusion is also promoted. This measure is also set to enhance financial stability in the market, as credit quality of banks will improve because of assessment. Also, one of the aim of such a registry is to make credits more easily available to those who are underserved currently, because the registry makes it easier for the lenders, including fintech companies, to assess the credit worthiness of the borrowers. And know that the registry also signals to the lenders about the ability of the borrowers, that is whether the borrowers would return their loan on time or not. In the article, it is mentioned that the idea behind NFIR is to create one registry to provide 360-degree kind of information system. That is, all-round information about the borrowers will be made available to the lending institutions. It is said that based on this information only, future loans will be sanctioned. So that is all about the NFIR. Since it is in the early stage, no more details are there regarding this. For prelims, know that what is NFIR, that is alone is enough. Now let us move to the negative interest rate. See, for this you have to know the change in value of money with respect to inflation. For example, I will tell you a scenario, okay? Consider the year 2015. Say you have rupees 100 with you. So with that rupees 100 in 2015, imagine that you are buying 4 apples, which means the cost of apple is rupees 25. Just imagine you have gone abroad and later came back to India in the year 2020. Now after coming to India in 2020, you are going to the market and you see that the cost of an apple is rupees 50 here. So with the same 100 rupees now, you would be able to buy just 2 apples. So comparing these scenarios, you can see how purchasing power of rupee 100 has deteriorated. This is within the 5-year time period. You lost the purchasing power to buy 2 apples with that rupees 100. This loss in the value of money is because of inflation. Similarly, consider another example. I am lending you, for example, I am lending you rupees 100 for this year, and I say that you have to return me the money next year with 10% interest. So next year I will be getting 110 rupees totally, right? Suppose by next year beginning, we see a news from RBI that inflation for 2023 was 20%. Okay, that means that in the period after I lend you money, the prices of most goods and services have risen by 20%. This means that the value of 110 rupees that I am supposed to receive in 2024 will be depreciated and rupees 110 would have lost its value to less than the principal amount of 100 rupees that I gave you. This is called negative returns. Such interest rates for the periods which are below the rate of inflation are called as negative interest rates. In this article, the RBI governor says that such negative interest rates were prevailing in last 3 years of financial sector. This is because of high inflation rate in the country, and he is more concerned with this, as he says such prevalence of negative interest rates has to be avoided to ensure financial stability in the country. The governor of RBI adds on to say that the real interest rates has just moved into positive territory, which is a good sign. So this is what negative inflation means. So I have given the example here also, you can read it. The real interest rates in short is nothing but the nominal interest rate minus the rate of inflation. When the inflation is very high when compared to the interest rates, the nominal interest rates, then it is said that it is at a negative interest rate. When the real interest rate is in positive, that means it can occur only when nominal interest rates are higher than the rate of inflation. So with this, we have come to the end of this news article discussion. Let us close this topic and move to the prelims and mains question discussion now. Now coming to the first question of the day, consider the following statements with respect to Central Board of Film Certification. Statement 1 says it is directly under the directive of Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Statement 2 says CBFC certification is required for movies, television programs and serials. Select the correct answer using the code given below. The options given are option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C both 1 and 2, option D neither 1 nor 2. We saw right in our discussion, the government body that governs and directs censorship in India is called as CBFC. This was established in the year 1950, but it got its statutory status after enactment of Cinematography Act of 1952, and this functions under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. So the first statement is correct, but second statement says CBFC certification is required for movies, television programs and serials. No, this is wrong, because CBFC certification is required for movies only. Television programs and serials are not coming under the ambit or jurisdiction of CBFC. So the statement 2 is wrong. The answer for this question is option A 1 only. And in addition, you also know that films that are dubbed from one language to another should also get a fresh certificate from CBFC. And movies that are imported, that are the foreign films that are imported to India, should also get CBFC certifications. So here only movies are coming under the jurisdiction of CBFC certifications, and television programs are not coming under the ambit of CBFC. So the correct answer for this question is option A 1 only. Now moving to the second question, consider the following statements regarding the National Legal Service Authority. It says it was established by the executive resolution. Statement 2 says it was constituted to monitor and evaluate the implementation of legal aid programs. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Options given are option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C both 1 and 2, option D neither 1 nor 2. First statement is wrong, because it is a statutory body under Legal Services Authorities Act of 1987. So first statement is wrong, and the second statement is a general statement. It says it was constituted to monitor and evaluate legal aid programs. This is correct. So the answer for this question is option B 2 only. Now coming to the mains practice question. Examine the economic and strategic significance of border area development for India. What are various challenges related to border area management and development? So aspirants can take note of this question. You can write the answers and you can post them in the comment section. So with this, let us wind up the session and complete the news article as well as the questions discussion. Thank you for listening. And if you really like the video and method of and the way I teach you, please like the video, share the video, comment the video and subscribe to ForumIAS for further updates. Thank you.